Bad things are good. Who told you that they're not? It gives you something that you can respond to so that you can propel forward. If you're poor, change your response to a system that has robbed you so that you can propel forward and become wealthy. When I was poor, I blamed my boss for offshoring my job to India. It was my boss's fault that he offshored my job to India, but it was completely on me, my fault, that I suddenly had no income whatsoever. Up to that point, I had done nothing to start building my own residual income. That was on me, not my boss. Some of you won't change the language in your head that you keep telling yourself until after you're successful. That's like the farmer saying, I'll sow seed after I have a harvest. How dumb is that? Change the language in your head first, then you can become successful. The farmer has to sow seed for the possibility of a harvest to happen next. You're not really poor because of a society that has made it perfectly legal to perpetually steal from you. You're poor because of your response to a society that has made legalized theft a thing. It begins with changing the language that you tell yourself. When I stopped blaming my former evil bovine boss for my sudden loss of income, I became powerful in that instant, because in that instant, I took responsibility, which opened my mind to a rich and creative brain that was on the hunt for some solutions. You might be a very busy, hardworking, good, ethical individual, but you might also be very lazy when it comes to reprogramming your brain from an excuse-making one into a brain that's in a rich and creative process of being on the hunt for your own solutions. In a really strange twist of irony, some of the busiest, most hardest working people on planet Earth are the laziest individuals at the same time, with one excuse after another, sort of trapping themselves into being poor from one year to the next, constantly being left behind because they haven't evolved their mind into a rich and creative problem-solving mindset. And that is where the laziness kicks in, making it easier to find excuses, which keeps it impossible to ever become a problem-solving person. It's either excuses or let's solve some problems. It's nothing to demonize somebody's character. That's not what this is about. But if this gives somebody a mental, quick, swift in the behind to draw a line in the sand and jump over with both feet, then that's pretty awesome. If your takeaway from this video, this messaging, is to be offended, then you're proving my point with mental laziness and excuse making, no matter how hardworking you are. Draw a line in the sand, jump over with both feet, not one timidly tucked in the past and another scared on the other side of the line. Go over with both feet, a leaping bound. Recognize that your power is a sleeping giant just waiting, begging to be awakened. That sleeping giant you can wake the hell up simply by changing the language that you tell yourself. It's not about what happened to you. That's not where your power is. It's about how you respond to what happens to you. That's going to determine if you're just going to continue to be another turd in the herd of obedient workers that they can perpetually steal from, or if you're finally gonna propel forward. You can do it. There's going to be people that are going to tell you that you can't because of circumstances, because of things that happen to you, external forces that you have no control over. And they're half right. We have no control over those external forces. Our control, our power, is those internal forces. The most valuable piece of real estate on planet Earth, that real estate that's right between our ears, the one that nobody spends time, almost nobody spends time ever developing after they get out of grade school or maybe college, who knows. And even still, in those experiences, they're really training you up to be an obedient worker. Not to say that there's not a lot of goodness that can't come out of school. Reading, writing, arithmetic, you learn some cool stuff. But as far as how to make a living for yourself, you go to school to learn how to be an obedient worker that perpetually gets stolen from your entire life. You live and die controlled and manipulated by the paycheck, or you can't pay your bills. So don't listen to people that tell you there's nothing you can do about it because of external forces and circumstances that you have no control over. You don't have control over those things, but you have complete control how you respond to those things. And that truly is where your power is. That will determine if you're going to continue to be that perpetually stolen from turd in the herd obedient worker, or someone that gets out of that left behind depressing scenario and finally propels forward. So that's up to you, and it begins with the language that you change in your head. And maybe a video like this, a message like this, is going to be the massive interceptor of that language and that story that you keep telling yourself. And if this can be the wrench thrown in its way so that that story you keep telling yourself is interrupted, that's freaking awesome. In fact, comment below. I would love to hear about it. Comment below. Tell me if you're going to continue to stay the same. Maybe you're already in a great place, but most of you are not in a great place. So maybe tell me something that you might do differently. Even if it's just beginning with the language that you tell yourself, you don't really know what the solution is going to be yet, but you've at least started that process so that you can be on the process of finding what that solution is going to be. When you first get started, people generally don't know how, they just know they've made up their mind. So now the next step is to figure out how, but you'll never figure out how if you don't take that first step of changing the language in your head, the story that you tell yourself. And then their mind is rich and creative instead of poor and lazy, no matter how hard you're working. Now, wouldn't it be great if you took that hard work ethic that you have, that incredible, good, hard, moral, compassionate work ethic that you have, and you refocus that to something that was going to get you out of that turd in the herd, obedient worker lifestyle that's just been ripping you off your whole life? Maybe your energy is just misplaced, but if you change the language in your head, open your mind to a rich and creative mindset, well, now you can take all that wonderful hard work that you do and put it in a place that is actually going to serve you better than it has in the past. Doesn't that sound like more fun? I think so. You can do it. Surround yourself with people that believe you can do it, and be polite to everyone else telling you there's nothing you can do, and just use that as fuel for your own motivation to prove them wrong. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, TomBerkenmeyer.com is my website, just like it's spelled here on social media, TomBerkenmeyer.com. I've got tons of content around this kind of stuff. Anything to do with money, freedom, health and wellness, fitness, eating healthy, personal philosophy, you name it. It's quite a big umbrella. Take care. Share this video if you know somebody that could use a message like this, or broadcast it on your social media, whatever platforms that you use. Bye for now.